Welcome to Life Mastery Stories. Today I'm going to introduce you to an expert in the wellness industry. Her name is Elise Phipps. She's an extraordinary female entrepreneur that is a master in health and committed to helping others achieve their optimal level of living. And today she shares her own personal journey from being exposed to so much of the work and what she discovered through the Life Mastery method. If you're someone who's been on a journey for a while and keep bumping up against the same things, you're going to want to listen. Welcome to Life Mastery Stories. I'm here with female entrepreneur and founder of Tailor Wealth, Elise Phipps. Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And first of all, I'm going to say thank you for being here. I know part of the reason why you're here and why you're here to share is because there's a desire to help others.
Mm-hmm. Deeply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so thank you for that.
Of course.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'll start professionally, although I don't love to identify with that. I have a background in genetic analysis and functional medicine, so essentially personalized medicine. I would say the biochemistry side of what you do, like hyper individualization of helping people work through issues. I started with genetic analysis. And when I started that company, the first company, it was at the time where the MTHFR gene was really infamous. Mm-hmm. And it was getting a lot of research and associations, media around its association to miscarriages and infertility. And so I was getting a lot of women who came, got tested, and then based on this one genetic mutation would associate all the pain that they've been through, their troubles. Obviously that's a huge thing, just a huge loss in a life. And each time, because again, similar to what you do, it's yes, genetics, it's yes, part of like a history and imprint, but there's so much that we can do and work with the lifestyle, with different therapies, whether it's somatic or, medical. Mm-hmm. And so I would always encourage the women to go back and get functional medicine testing done, in-depth blood work, hormones, nutrients, did a lot of environmental toxin testing. And each time they would come back and be like, "My doctor doesn't even know what this is," or "My doctor won't order this for me," or he doesn't give any kind of, and I'm saying he, and I don't mean to see, but oftentimes he. And so they would come back and ask if I could help. Mm-hmm. And yes, like I want to help, just like how you introduced me. So the company evolved from genetics strictly to functional medicine, personalized medicine, and now I do all of it. So hyper-personalization of, looking at the biochemistry and what's going on. And the more I work with you and understand energy, spirituality, I always make sure I'm teaming that person with someone who's addressing the trauma. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You live both here in Costa Rica, originally from California, and prior to that...
Originally from Washington, D.C., that area. Right. Lived in California, Costa Rica. Yeah, still kind of trying to find home, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your journey and what brought you into the work and what had you be on a journey.
Sure. So I was working in the Pentagon and the Navy Yard, very high functioning on the financial business management side of things. And I just did not feel well. And I was young enough in my 20s. I was like, this is not right. Yeah. And I was always into health. So I would do my own research, but I would also seek out practitioners. Yeah. And each time I would leave disappointed. And at that point, when you're suffering and you're just like crushed, you think someone is going to help you, someone outside of yourself, and you leave disappointed. And I saw maybe 8, 9, 10 of the top doctors in the U.S., ones who had accolades that were like $1,000 for a half hour. You're just paying anything to feel better. Yeah. And I never felt like I was seen or heard or there was much momentum or that I had confidence in a practitioner. And so at that point, it was like either I heal myself or I don't get well. Yeah. And so I went back to integrative medicine school at that point.
And that inspired you to help others.
Yeah, there was so much information there that blew me away that was already accessible to practitioners and physicians that wasn't being utilized. And I felt like I couldn't know that information and not help others. And I definitely stepped into the space with feelings of like, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go to medical school prior to that. I wasn't a doctor, an MD. And I didn't feel like I could step into that space. But I remember sitting in the in-person sessions and the material and the questions that were asked by MDs. And there's wonderful MDs out there. I don't mean to stereotype everyone. But the questions that were being asked or the lack of ability to put the information together in a whole systems approach or a personalized approach where it was so ingrained in them. You know, you look at the gut separately or there's a prescription medicine for X symptom. And so, yeah, knowing what I knew and knowing that there weren't going to be a lot of physicians who took that information and helped people. Yeah, I had to step into the space.
I love that. Yeah. And I love that you've been a seeker of truth, a seeker of wellness, a seeker and more like a stand for other human beings for a long time. Tell me a little bit about your journey working together. What brought you to beginning our journey together, and what did you discover?
Sure. So I was going through a very traumatic time in my life. And I had been in this phase for like a year and a half, 2 years now, and things weren't moving. And I really thought I was doing everything right because I had such in-depth knowledge of not only, biochemistry, neurotransmitters, hormones, like everything that makes you function right. But also, I'd lived in Costa Rica for 5 or 6 years. I understand the energetics of community, healing in community, healing with nature, everything, eating local foods, diet. I'd done a few plant medicine ceremonies. I was really doing everything right. And I was so dedicated to feeling better that I continued, I would wake up and I would go to an exercise class and really honor my body in that space, not necessarily push it, but again, doing everything that someone who has all the resources to take care of themselves and the knowledge could do. And I was really careful with my words. And I think that was the first one of the biggest aha moments that you and I had together, where I refused to view myself as a victim and wouldn't even use that language because I didn't want to be at the frequency of that. And I knew, and I still know I'm strong enough. I will get through this. It will move. But you had me do that one assignment where I had to write a letter to my parents and same thing. I was coming back with the warrior mentality or hero's journey where it's like, I'm fine. All of these things happen, but it was just the emotional state of my parents and they did the best they could. And I have so much love, which are all true things. But you were like, no, this is not, you have to redo this letter. And you and I went back and forth a few times and I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. And you really drilled it into me and I'm so grateful you did. But you were like, no, you're inner child, your little girl, everything needs to be acknowledged that it wasn't okay, that it's not okay. And that I needed to break down and soothe that inner child and really work with the energy that was keeping me stuck despite doing all of the things I thought I was doing to move the energy. And so that was a huge, blessing. It was very difficult, but incredibly insightful. And I loved how just you wouldn't accept anything less. You were going to make me do that work and see it, and that you wanted the best for me. And
and you were willing, which is so extraordinary.
Well, there was a lot of resistance. You gave me the exercise and I had a week or two to do it. And I think it was an hour before I finally sat down because my body was like, no, I don't want to go there. Don't want to do it.
Yeah. And what's beautiful about that was your protector, right? Your mask showed up and was like, I'm good. I'm good. right? And how often did that mask show up in your life?
It was my whole life. Yeah.
Yeah. And how often did that mask allow behaviors to emerge from people around you that were actually not okay?
Yeah, often. Because it's so confusing, the amount of information that's out there.
Yeah.
And some of the quotes that really just you hear and align to, or ways of being where it's like, okay, I'm in charge of my own energy. It's nothing outside that's really impacting me, which there's an element of truth to that, but you can't navigate that when really close relationships are expressing that way. And you just put on the mask and the warrior attitude, but you never really let yourself process the emotions or the trauma. Yeah.
Totally. And that's true for a lot of people. There's a lot of quotes, there's a lot of books, there's a lot of material.
Yeah.
And often what we know won't make a difference unless it's like deeply discovered. And that discovery can be very confronting. Right? So I love that you captured the initial resistance, because it's just the recreation of the protector, right? Once we were able to break through that, what awareness or what became available to you on the other side when you saw much of the work was identifying those early years, that subconscious mind, what was creating it? And sometimes from our caregiver, there's so many things that seem normal. This is okay. This is what everyone else is doing, not realizing the impact it has on us. That leads to us creating this mask, this protector. And so when you became aware of that construct, when you discovered it, not know it, but when you discovered it, what impact did that have on you?
Many things that came up. The biggest was, and it took a while, it wasn't overnight. The amount of really in-depth, intense trauma that had been hidden underneath that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much of that was considered normal?
Oh, totally. You said something to me, and I forget exactly, but it was something around the wellness industry can keep you very busy. And I said it earlier, but I thought I was doing everything right. I was doing all the things to heal, to move energy, to keep myself well, but I wasn't, and I was sitting and meditating, but I wasn't. It took someone else seeing me, you seeing me, and really bringing that to light so that then I could really sit and be present with myself.
Once you saw that, once you could see that construct, like what opened up for you?
Oh, I'm still working through it.
That's good.
And it was just the level of trauma and numbness. And execution and productivity and busyness and it's terrifying at times to really let yourself sit with that and realize what things you've been doing every single day of your life that really aren't even authentic to you or serving you. And then how you become a more authentic version and letting everything fall away. And there's at times there's nothingness. And as someone who's, I know most of your clients are, but very high functioning, it's an incredibly uncomfortable feeling to not know how to move forward. But giving myself space, my soul space to really be heard and seen, and then a life that's aligned to it. Yeah.
That's really beautiful. And then the real work begins.
And then, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the same context. It begins and never ends.
Yes.
And then the depth that we venture into it is the degree that we get to create our entire life. Now, you're someone that has had the beautiful privilege of doing a lot of work and of meeting many practitioners and of just having access to things that are available in the wellness space. And what's been your experience going down those paths? And how was this method distinctly different when we were able to see and uncover the source of trauma, the protector, and how your awareness shifted after that point?
You have a very beautiful way, and I know your soul speaks to you very loudly. You saw me, and I know this with other people too. You see them exactly who they are, where they are, but also really the true work that needs to be done to move this person forward. And you have such advocacy for your work and hold the space for others of really like true excellence in the way where you want nothing but like the most pure and love-filled, I'm gonna cry, expression of themselves to come through. And it's very hard to find practitioners like that. The person certainly has to be met where they're capable of being, but you push through that so gracefully and hold the space where a person I could go deeper than I could have on my own. And yeah, I think the rest of it, looking back, they all guided you. The reason I love the work I do that's data-based with the women that I meet is because oftentimes their connection to their intuition has been so shut down for so long that they've known something is wrong in their body for a long time, but seen enough people who are like, no, you're fine. You're fine. It's just in your head. And the data for them or working together sets them free in a way. They get that restored connection to intuition. And that's what they need in that moment. But with you, it just, you really push through and go to the depths and the source of it all.
It's just been like such a privilege. Actually, I have to say that. Like such a privilege to witness a human being, even if there's resistance, to see this like beautiful, extraordinary human that knows there's more. And that's a seeker in you from the beginning that just knows like this can't be it. And there is more. And there's this willingness to discover it, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's being challenged or confronted. And so I have to thank you for that privilege and honor of like being on that journey together, because it is quite extraordinary. There's no bigger human to me than the one willing to go down that path for the sake of truth. It's really beautiful.
It takes one to know one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a blessing and a curse. My soul speaks loud enough that there is no other way.
Yes. Yes. And we were talking about that the other day, that like, it's sometimes really hard to be in the world where the level of functioning is at a state of trauma or at an energy of lack, or people are getting through, and it's very soul crushing to shrink to that. It's just not an option, is it?
No.
Tell me, when you identified this initial construct, much of our like the beginning stage of our journey is really just illuminating what has been out of one's view. And then showing them how that's impacted literally their entire life, and how that's coloring like what's possible for them and what's possible for their future if their life wasn't lived through that lens of unprocessed trauma.
Yeah.
What did you discover about your relationships and past relationships once you saw that internal construct or internal engineering?
Well, first, it's shocking when you realize how much of your life and decisions and execution of life, even being someone who I've always felt very aware and more aware than the average, like always willing to do the work.
Yeah.
But it gave a whole new lens on I revisited almost every relationship I was in, and you had a story or an understanding of why they ended, of what happened, and a whole different lens, perspective, realization of how I showed up in the relationship as well. And the things that I wasn't capable of doing at that time to either further the relationship or further myself in the relationship.
Yeah.
And how much of my behavior, it certainly takes two in a relationship, how much of my wounding would also influence the other person's expression of wounding.
Now knowing what you know, what would matter to you? What becomes available to you in like a future partnership?
Certainly someone who's willing to do all the work. And together, like the understanding of us both working separately and together, and that the work never ends. You had said it. It's at time I wouldn't have it any other way, but at times it can feel exhausting. So someone who's really committed to doing the journey of life and growth and healing. I think how much time I spent in meditation, introspection, journaling, wellness, and not seeing what you showed me. I also think it's so important to be working with a professional even early on, because as much as you want to acknowledge all of your own awareness and think you're doing the work, there's something that there's parts of you that you can't see.
Would what you desire in a relationship, now knowing what you know, how do you think that would change from who you've attracted in the past versus who you could invite in the future?
Well, that gets me excited just thinking about it.
Me too, for you.
I think, a whole different level of human. And I'm grateful for all of I feel like you might correct me on this, because the same thing when I'm like, I'm so grateful for my childhood and which I am, but I'm grateful for my past experiences and relationships. It's almost hard to put words to it, but when I think about that person, there's like a groundedness in me just being with that person, and a security that I'm not getting from someone else, but that just amplifies. Yeah. And certain people, and it's just, I can almost better express it with energetics, but certain people just take you to, you're not grounded. And just that authentic expression of really being on this earth plane with someone and bringing into life both of our purposes and really supporting one another with that. Someone can hold strong community and continue to really see each other and commit.
Exciting. Knowing the work. So initially it's like a big rip open of the curtain when you authentically can stare that shadow in the face, see the inner child, see the mask, and then trace it back to every way it's impacted your life. Now the real work begins.
Showing up differently.
Yeah. And the practice and the journey. So tell me about that. What does it look like for you to be on this authentic practice and to keep being in practice every single day? Does the work end?
The work does not end. But I almost want to redefine work, though, because there's so much beauty in it as well. There's more beauty than you could ever experience if you don't do the work. But it is cyclical. And the work can take you quite low, but it always brings you back up into a higher. And oftentimes when it feels the hardest, you're about to have a major breakthrough. And also there's a realization of how much suffering you're allowing yourself to do, and how much I do find every time I'm at that depths in the bottom where I'm like, I cannot do any more work. There's something that comes in, someone, or just something from the universe, or some sort of release that I'm always supported. Yeah. And the more that I commit to it and show up, and it's not as hard as we make it out to be. There are hard parts, but even just bringing in this past week, breath work with with the lens of, when I get to that place of depth and breath work, now I'm going to that inner child. And now I know what to work with and free. And I'm asking for that support before I even go in. And it's profound how many things when you set intention can move, but the awareness has to be there first.
You notice those miracles that can show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knowing what you know about unhealed trauma, if it's not healed, what continues to show up in one's life?
Toxic relationships, friendships. I mean, toxic relations with your family. A lower frequency vibration altogether. A lot of addictive, numbing behaviors, whether it's through food or alcohol or pharmaceuticals or other drugs. I think plant medicine can be a dangerous place to be in because we only hear about the good. And I personally had a very traumatic experience with it. And it's just, it can be used beautifully, but it is another source of numbing, just a lot of numbing. Never really connecting to your soul, which is, I feel like, the most tragic thing you could ever go through.
I love how you've illuminated that. And that's something we've talked about, that the spiritual community can keep you really busy.
Yeah.
It can be a bit of a rabbit hole. And for some people, it can really turn them off the work. What are some of the experiences you've experienced sort of down all the many paths? And what would you caution people on?
First, knowing that an individual has the ability to heal and the intuitive connection and knowing to always know what's right for them if they give them space and what's safe. And they're always protected. And when they are in their heart and their core, their body and soul will show the way. And to really listen and hear for themselves and not just hear with your ears, but, what is your whole body response to things? And really slow down and sit with that and ask yourself if you are doing to just do instead of is this being in true alignment. You had said something to me about people doing things that are familiar to them. And that I certainly was there. I was doing all the things that in the past had helped me, but it was a whole different level that I was progressing through, that I needed a different set of tools and help. And so to take the lens of stepping back and sitting with if this is really authentic to what they need now.
Right. I love that word. Because it's at times missing in some spiritual places, not all, but some. And the work is truly formless, right?
And you know this, and you advocate for this, that, that you facilitate, but I'm the one doing the work, that your clients are the ones doing the work. I have one of my triggers is when you go to someone who tells you they have all the answers. That is the biggest red flag to me, because it's you that's going to heal yourself. And anyone who's a healer in this space knows that there is always more work to do. There's always more knowledge to gain, that it's always above and beyond ourselves that's really facilitating this. And so when a human embodies something like that, where they're going to fix you.
I don't believe in he or she is a healer. Right? You can only take someone to where you've gone. And I often will say that to clients. I'm not here to heal you. That's not what we do. Just to guide you and to illuminate the places or the patterns that you don't see, so that who can heal you?
Me.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's the only way. That was my question. I love how you captured that. What are some of the experiences you've experienced in the community? That's one example. You've beat me to it. That were disheartening for you. that lacked authenticity or integrity?
I've had many. I think most people have had many. There was a very traumatic psychedelic experience that I did. It was the second in a row, and I was with a practitioner that I had done the first one with. And it was a great space. I had a profound experience. The second one, he was visiting town, got very busy. The second one was a rushed experience. He came late. It was in my office space. The space wasn't cleared. I had gotten a big no in my body, but my previous experience was positive. And I just thought it was me, the fear coming up and not wanting to be released. So I went through with it. And if I didn't have enough people in my community that could help me recover from that, I think there's a big chance I would have been in a mental institute. It just completely destroyed my nervous system.
And that is how careful we have to be in.
Yeah. But I don't blame the practitioner. I have the realization now that was a full body no for me.
Yeah.
And to have experienced that and said and overrode the knowledge of my body.
Yeah.
That was a lesson that I had to learn. Yeah.
I love that you pointed to that. Were you taught as a child to trust your intuition?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
What did you discover that what was so considered normal with our parents, the impact that that had on us? I know you entered a career that when you first started school, that didn't inspire you.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Sure. So from the beginning, I always had an interest in health and wellness. And, you know, that generation, their parents were in the Depression. And it's a whole different survival approach to life. And I was taught that, you know, I needed to get a degree in finance or something of that to set myself up to really find security in a steady and stable, lucrative position.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, if you want to do the health stuff, you pay for college. And if you want us to pay for college, let's do engineering, finance, something in that. So right away, it was ingrained in me that if I pursued passions, that I wouldn't be able to be secure on this earth plane, stable financially, that I would even start off as an adult with immense debt. And yeah, that I had to fit into a mold with society.
So those patterns were drilled in from like a very young age.
Yeah.
And how did it feel to pursue something that didn't inspire you?
Well, I went to class on the first day on midterms and finals and took a whole lot of Adderall to get through it and just drank my way through college. Like it wasn't any way to live life. There was no connection to soul, to something bigger, to...
There's so much power in what you're sharing because we work with a lot of parents. And if you're a parent and you're listening right now, many, especially in our Western world, have a very clear path for their children of success, of the finance career, of the law degree, of the... It's a predetermined path to success, not unaware of the being behind that.
Yeah. But for parents listening, it's not that you like need to take that as you're a horrible person, because when this was ingrained in me, it was out of sheer protection. Yeah. Because that's how the world is set up. Yeah. And they didn't want me to suffer and struggle. And based on their experiences, they wanted more for me.
Yeah. And it's never out of a lack of love.
Yeah.
All those decisions are made out of love. We're protecting them. And there's so much love and unconsciousness. It's always a lack of consciousness. And what do you think, had they been able to really see you? Had they been able to really allow you to be connected to your intuition, to create your path? What would that have been like for you?
Probably a lot more joy and ease.
And now that you're discovering it, and all of our parents, if you came from our generation, we're going to have things to work through, right? Even this journey wasn't available to them at that time. This wasn't something that they had access to. So they did their best with what they knew. Knowing what you know now, you're actually in a very exciting moment. I'm very excited for you because I know what you're committed to other human beings. I know what you're a stand for people's health and well-being. And I know that the seeker in you continues to seek. And so what becomes available to you if you continue in an authentic practice, which means you no longer let your patterns drive the bus. You no longer let the doubt or the lack or anything that shows up. You're mindful of like the human beings that you invite into your life. What's available for your future?
Anything and everything I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it all comes much easier. The mind doesn't have to figure it out.
Right.
Things are magnetic, and the trust that you're always supported, that I'm always supported.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the business, the path, the client, like it all just happens as it's supposed to.
Yeah. As a healthcare professional who grew up with a very strong academic focus, what was the hardest part for you in doing the work?
I'm too intelligent for my own, to allow it. The brain will always protect. Yeah, so you can rationalize your way out of not needing to do the work, of avoiding the work. Yeah. And we all have that capacity. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you one more question.
Sure.
If you could speak to someone who is suffering in some way, whether life doesn't feel alive, or they might feel anxious or stressed, they may be struggling in a relationship, they have something that they're dealing with, yet are really skeptical about doing any sort of internal work. They actually can't even see a problem that led to that place. What would you say to them?
What do you have to lose? It's beyond rewarding, and it's the only way through. And as someone who has done a lot of work before even seeing you, I could have saved myself, and I believe every path is perfect, but having someone to help you get to the root. And if you don't see that you have a problem, it's that we all have it. There's trauma ongoing in all of us, and then there's more. And so there's nothing wrong with you, but there's certainly issues that need to be addressed. If you're feeling stuck, if you have that lack of connection, lack of joy, any of it, if you don't have a higher trust in everything, and there's always more work. There's always work.
So I know how busy you are, and you took time out of your schedule to be here. I know what you're up to and what you're creating in service of other human beings. And when I asked you about coming, you said one thing to me. You said, if this could help people on their path, I'll be there. I could cry. Just I don't know why that makes me cry, but because it's like right here. And so I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being that human being for strangers that you've never met, and for taking time out of all that you're up to in this moment to help somebody else. I know that's what has you here today, and I see that so clearly. And I have so much love and gratitude for you being here and sharing and opening yourself up to the world for that purpose alone. And I'm excited for what's to come and for you to continue to unleash your gifts onto this world.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You give me so much strength.
And it's been such an honor and a privilege, truly. It's beautiful to watch you continue to step into your becoming again and again. And we know that gets created every day. And I just think you're so extraordinary and magical and are going to create massive impact as you continue to do.
I hope so. And not because it's for me.
Yeah, that's clear. So thank you.